Can you imagine trying to call 911 because you're fighting for your life and you're getting the same customer service you do from the DMV? So
the thing I want to know about the Bakersfield 911 operator is what connections does she have to keep her job when she's so notoriously bad at being a 911 operator that multiple people...
Have you heard about the Bakersfield, California 911 dispatcher story that is going on TikTok? So apparently there's a 911 operator in Bakersfield, California that is terrorizing their community. This lady came on TikTok to make a video about how she called 911, and that same lady picked up and treated her like shit, and that opened a whole can of worms, you know. And now people are coming out to tell their story and their encounters of when they call 911, and that same lady answered the phone and how rude she was on the phone to them. She's a 911 dispatcher and she's being rude to people, and she still has a job in Bakersfield, California. She still do as a 911 operator.
If you're in Bakersfield, California, and you've ever called 911, then you probably got the same stupid bitch operator. Why do you have an attitude for me calling your job, you weird ass bitch?
Can you imagine trying to call 911 because you're fighting for your life and you're getting the same customer service you do from the DMV? So apparently in Bakersfield, California, everyone's getting the same rude experience from a 911 operator. And it's people actually calling for actual emergencies, and she's just giving them the hardest time about it. I seen a comment on one of the viral videos where they called because a house was burning, and the dispatcher was like, well, have you called the fire department? Go fire. Like, isn't that your job? And it's crazy too because there's actual firefighters, EMS, and police officers all commenting on the video saying, oh, I know who you're talking about. Like, what? How does she still have a job there? And apparently she has like a lot of family and friends that work in politics up there. And I'm just like, what? Small town corruption? Okay. I feel for this city, so hopefully something gets done about it, because you don't want to be bleeding out and your 911 operator being annoyed about it.
Bakersfield has a villain for one of their 911 operators. I can't be the only one who's eavesdropping. So we got the first whistleblower. This girl was like, to the 911 operator in Bakersfield, why are you getting mad at me for calling your job? There were a lot of comments recognizing who the 911 operator was. There wasn't a lot of stories. Can y'all please put stories? Try sharing an office with her. As a cop, I already know who it is. 300,000 likes. Oh my God, girl. Why? Why does everyone know who you are? I called to report a fire. She said, I'll give you the number so you can call the fire department. I'm like, Miss Girl, I'm calling you so you can send them ASAP. This the one. The way I've yelled at her. Not the cops, nurses, and paramedics agreeing. I'm a paramedic. We know. As a nurse at the hospital, we know who. I'm an EMS and she's very well known but has family in politics, so she'll never lose her job. Bakersfield has corruption. The last place I would think has corruption. She hung up on me. Girl was so vocally annoyed that I was dying on the phone with her. My mom is a nurse here in Bakersfield and she overheard this and said, I think I know who she's talking about. She's so rude and told me I didn't need to call because someone already called before me and I was holding up the lines for other emergencies. Well, what if someone didn't call before me? Someone left this in a comment section. They were like, oh, we actually found the 911 operator. I don't know if this is real though, but someone was like, oh my God, are you the one they're talking about? She's like, yes, question mark. This is weird. I'm sweet. Guys, is this the 911 operator? If she's watching this, why are you so angry? What's wrong? Why are you taking it personally that people need to use 911?
I'm glad everyone is finally talking about that 911 dispatch operator that is in Bakersfield, because I lived in Bakersfield my entire life, and every single time, the 3 times I've had to call 911 in my entire life, it has always been her. The first time I called her, I was reporting a fire, and I called and she was like, yeah, we already know. Like, in the rudest tone possible, like not at all in the tone that a 911 operator should be talking to you. She told me, yeah, we already know. Like, you can go ahead and disconnect the call, ma'am. Okay, my bad for reporting a fire. The second time, I had to report a potential domestic violence dispute. I called her and I explained the situation, and she was like, okay, what do you want me to do? Anything! Send the police or like an ambulance, like literally do anything. That is your job! That is your job! Why are you acting like I'm inconveniencing you? And then the last time, I was reporting a very violent fight that I had seen when I was driving home. And she was like, okay, where is it at? And I had already told her, I was like, yeah, it's on this street and this street. And she was like, okay, where is it at? Like, acting like I was not giving her enough information. She was so rude. She was acting like I was ruining her day by calling 911. I don't know if she's the only operator that works there, because everybody I know and I have talked to about this, and obviously all the videos I've seen on TikTok, people hate this girl. And in the comments, people are saying like, yeah, I work with her and I hate her. Yeah, I'm a police officer and I hate her. How does she still have a job? And why is it only her that's answering all of the 911 calls in Kern County?
I want to know about the Bakersfield 911 operator is what connections does she have to keep her job when she's so notoriously bad at being a 911 operator that multiple people say, yes, I had to call 911. It was an awful situation. It was domestic violence. Someone had a restraining order. And she said, maybe don't call unless it's a real emergency. And she's telling other people reporting violent crimes, what do you want me to do about that? And this woman still works there. This isn't something where she just started working there in the last few weeks and her bosses haven't realized that she sucks. The fact that there are ambulance drivers, there are medical professionals, there are police officers who are like, we hate dealing with her too. She's absolutely horrendous for us. So it's inside the system hates her as much as everybody outside of the system needing to call 911 for actual emergencies and getting fobbed off by her. And yet she still works there. And so I want to know what her connections is. Like, what blackmail material does she have on someone? Like, who is her dad in this town? Like, what is her family legacy that keeps her employed in this job that she is absolutely horrendous at?
911 dispatcher from Bakersfield, California that's going viral for being a terrible 911 operator. How does she still have a job? Everyone in the comment section is saying that she hangs up on them. She is known for giving law enforcement, emergency medical services, and other dispatchers problems. She refuses to send emergency medical services, police, or fire whenever there's an emergency. And if you call, she always gives you attitude, making it seem like you calling her is a burden for her having to do her job. And what's crazy about this is, if you're from California, I'm from California, Bakersfield, California is nothing. And this has gone global. People in the comment sections are from Australia, Africa, different parts of Europe. People from all over America are commenting to stay on Bakersfield 911 dispatch TikTok. Get this girl out of dispatch. Honestly, be so for
PD
real.
has actually spoken out about the rude ass operator, and I'm telling you, I am pissed. So the news has entered the chats. Bakersfield now reached out to the Bakersfield Police Department, and they're acting so dumb. And they're saying that depending where in Bakersfield they call 911, it can be sent out to a different agency. Meaning they're trying to say that the rude ass operator doesn't work for Bakersfield PD. And they're saying also that the name that's been circulating isn't employed with them, but I'm going to come and tell you that it's a lie, because there's two names. One of them is actually a comedian that joked about this. The second name, which I'm not going to say in case it is hers, you can actually figure out really quick that that person made $110,000 working for the Bakersfield PD last year. Bakersfield PD says that if the original person that made the video can contact them, then, they'll be happy to help. Well, Saray Nichols, a content creator, is also works for Bakersfield now, and she's saying that if you've called 911 and you have the date and the time to reach out to her, because they're actually going to start requesting 911 calls to try and get to the bottom of this. Now, a different news network called KGET interviewed Bakersfield's PD Support Service Division Administration, including the person that actually trains the dispatchers, and they're saying that a dispatcher goes through like 4 months of training to be able to do this job. They take their job seriously. In the past, you actually needed 6 months training to become a police dispatcher in Bakersfield PD. So why is there 2 months less? And then a retired sheriff's dispatcher says that if anybody had an attitude, they would have been dealt with. Well, I mean, with all respect, you're retired. You don't know what's going on within the police department. Bakersfield PD has 32 dispatchers. In November, they received about 20,000 calls. That's a lot of calls, right? But they can't review a few just to see that, things are being done properly, because this police dispatcher is actually putting people's life at risk. And some people are saying that she is connected to government officials. That's why she hasn't been fired yet. People are saying that they've called while they're getting DV'd. They're called while they see somebody that's ODing, and the police dispatcher is just giving them stupid questions, being rude to them. And I'm surprised so far it seems like nobody has lost their lives because of her, but that's going to happen soon. Well, we are getting closer to finding out really who she is. Not only is the name that's circulating, but one of her co-workers actually came onto TikTok to say she knows who she is, that this dispatcher knows, what's being said online, that she promises to be nicer, that she knows she can get fired if she doesn't stop acting this way. And people are saying, you're actually the dispatcher. However, I don't really think this is her, because last year she won Dispatcher of the Year for 2025. And if it is her, I really highly doubt it. But if it is her, that's kind of bold to come on here and talk in third person. But what I do know is that Bakersfield PD, they start being smart about this, because they're going to start getting lawsuits. People's lives are being put at risk. This is not funny. This is not a joke. This is really serious business.
I submitted a FOIA request for the Bakersfield, California Police Department in reference to those viral videos about the 911 operator that one user said was a CUNT. Another user said that he had an interaction with this 911 dispatcher before, and he had found someone that overdosed, and he had a body cam footage of himself on the phone, but you couldn't hear the operator. So what I did is I looked at the time and date on that body cam footage, and I submitted this FOIA request to the Bakersfield Police Department. Recording of any calls to 911 received on 11/17/25 between the hours of 2:30 and 3 a.m., specifically relating to a potential overdose. Today, I received this response. It says, this letter is in response to your Public Records Act request submitted on February 18th, 2026. State law requires that we respond within 10 calendar days as to whether we have responsive documents, not necessarily produce the documents in 10 calendar days. We have responsive documents to your request. However, we need time to gather and review the documents. We will contact you as soon as the documents are available. Regards, Records Division, Bakersfield Police Department. In my opinion, they're just covering up for the Bakersfield dispatcher, because if there was nothing to worry about in this audio, they would have released it. It doesn't take 10 days to find an audio and give it out. I'm sure that they may be getting a lot of requests, so that could be possible, but I'll give them another couple weeks. I somehow feel like they're just not going to respond, though. They know I live in Virginia, because you have to put that information when you fill out the FOIA request, and they're probably like, she probably won't sue. Let's see.
And my question is she the only 911 operator in the community in Bakersfield, California? Like, is she the only one? Because a lot of people keep saying that they keep getting the same person. How are you guys getting the same person? And the community knows, the cops know, the paramedics know, her coworkers knows about her behavior. And no one ever seems or ever thought about like filing a report on her, making a complaint about her behavior at work. How does she still has a job? How is she still a 911 operator? I can't. The good thing about TikTok, now that this is getting so much attention on TikTok, I think that her supervisors or her managers are going to take it seriously. They're going to review her calls. They'll probably finally let her go, because this is not right. If someone is in distress or is in serious trouble and you're over there giving them attitude, you know what I mean? So I think they should review her calls and see what the heck is going on, and they need to fire that lady ASAP. And that's if that is true, if that is true. If that is true, they need to let her go. But let me know what you think about this story down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in my next